What's going on, guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over the list of modifications that I have made to my 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Q4. Now this is the base model, this is not the quadrifoglio model, so keep that in mind when you're looking at some of the things that I've done to it. But today we're going to be going over an extensive list of all the things that I've changed, some cosmetic, some performance, to make this Giulia perfectly customized to pretty much how I like it. So if you're new to the channel, welcome. This is my 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia. My channel is all about pretty much this car and all the things that I do with it and reviewing it and all sorts of different cars that I've taken on the channel and reviewed and given you thoughts about. But it's mostly been this car. So if you do enjoy this kind of content and you do like the Alfa Romeo, please be sure to give a like, comment, and even subscribe to the channel for more awesome content like this. I do respond to everybody and I love everybody's comments and participation in the channel. It is greatly appreciated when you guys do show support. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. All right, so starting on the exterior with the cosmetic mods I've done, we're going to start actually at the front of the vehicle. So when I first picked up this Giulia, it was, obviously it's still in Rosso Alpha, which is a beautiful red color, metallic. And when I first picked it up, it had a lot of silver accents to go with that. Now, while I did think that was beautiful, I personally like the red with the black kind of combo better. So first thing I did when I picked up the car was, most Giulias have a kind of silver V-Scudetto here. So I did end up changing this part over to a carbon fiber piece here that kind of sets over the original OEM silver trim. And I think that just gives the front end a really nice blacked out look there. Makes it a lot more aggressive, and I think that's how it should come, because you can option that up in the higher model Giulias with the dark Miron or the carbon fiber package. That'll get you the kind of blacked out front V there. However, in the space model, you don't get that. So I decided to put that on myself, and I think that definitely helps the front end look a little bit better. Also, with all of these parts, I will try to find some links to put in the description. If you guys are trying to pick this up for cheap, modify your Giulia, all of these parts that I've put on, most of them are genuine carbon fiber pieces. However, I will link some alternatives so that you guys can get these parts for your Giulia as well. All right, and moving on to the side here, the next addition I've made to the Giulia, next modification, is I've actually gone ahead and painted these wheels black. I know some people aren't the biggest fan of black rims. However, I think it just fit the kind of stylistic profile that I was going for with the Giulia. And just having these in silver while everything else was kind of blacked out or carbon fiber, I felt like just wouldn't have been the greatest idea. So I did go ahead and, as you can see, it's on all of the rims here. We go ahead and took these off, and we actually sanded them and painted them black. So don't mind, actually, they're kind of dirty right now and they look pretty bad, but they have been powder coated black and painted black, so now that they look and pretty much match the rest of the look of the cars. All right, coming back around to the side, I have also added carbon fiber mirror caps onto the Giulia. I think this was a really nice addition. They are Koshi carbon fiber mirror caps, and they just kind of slot right over the original. I've also added this kind of Italian flag sticker that's very, if you guys know what the Giulia GTA M is, these are kind of right off of that car. So I just think that when you stand back and you look at it, it just looks way more badass, and it adds that little bit of flair to the car that otherwise you wouldn't have. And very similar to this, I've done carbon fiber door handles as well. So these kind of, again, slot right over the exterior and already existing door handles there. They're a very nice part, actually. They fit really well, and they just kind of stick on there, and I think that it really gives the side profile a very, very sporty and aggressive look that it otherwise wouldn't. There are many places that sell a quadrifoglio-esque styled side skirt there, and I think that would really complete the side profile of the Giulia. So I'm definitely considering that, but I do think with the mods I've done, it does look very good from the side. Yeah, definitely a striking car. I've also gone ahead and painted these window trims here in black as well. Now, OEM, it did come in a very kind of silver stainless steel style, and again, I just think it didn't really go with what I was planning on doing, so I did kind of black these out. Again, taped this up, painted this myself, and I think it came out really well, and it definitely adds to that look. You can't option this from factory. Again, this is the base model, so you have to keep in mind that some of the things I'm doing could be just solved with getting a higher model Giulia. However, if you want to save a little cash, you can do some of this stuff yourself and get a pretty similar quality and similar look to it. Also up here, I've added a carbon fiber antenna piece on top of that, just to black that out. That was kind of a cheap Amazon part. I will admit, it does just slide right over, but again, it still looks pretty good, and I've had it on the car for well over a year, and it actually is holding up really well. So I think that was not bad for the 20, maybe 30 bucks that I paid for it. But again, it just adds a little something to the roof of the car here. I do eventually want to kind of black out the roof. I don't have the sunroof option, but I would like to black out the roof itself, just to add a little more flair, pizzazz, make it look, again, a little more like the higher model Giulias. But I do think that little piece is a pretty cool addition for only $20 or so. And coming to the back, my favorite mod that I've ever done to this car is this beautiful carbon fiber trunk lid spoiler. It's absolutely gorgeous. This is the quadrifoglio style trunk spoiler, and I just think that it adds so much to the rear end of this vehicle. Without it, it just looks a little flat, a little plain, but when you add that, it just gives it so much style and a little bit of aggression, and it makes it this balance between sporty and elegant, and it just is beautiful. This cost me, I got this again from Amazon. I didn't think it was going to be that great, but for 180 bucks from a place called Car, I believe it was, $180, and I've had this spoiler on almost 2 years. This is the first mod actually that I made to the Giulia, and again, it's held up really well. It doesn't move, it doesn't wiggle, and it's just 3M tape that's holding it on there, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I mean, from the side and from the rear, it just adds that little bit that you need, I think, to make the car look just that much better. Makes it look a little bit more like the quadrifoglio models. Definitely my favorite mod I've made to the exterior of this Giulia. And of course, I couldn't talk about modifications I've made to this Giulia without telling you guys about the aftermarket muffler delete kit I've put on this car. So real quick, just take a listen, and then we'll talk about where I got it from. Yeah, and that sounds pretty mean. So from factory, this car is pretty quiet in my opinion. I mean, it is still a great sounding 4-cylinder from factory, probably still the best sounding 4-cylinder you can get on the market today. However, I just think that adding that muffler delete kit really just wakes up the car that much, especially under, acceleration and daily driving. If you're the kind of person that is looking for a quadrifoglio kind of style, sound, look on a budget, I do think that adding a kind of muffler delete kit or some sort of aftermarket exhaust will be the way to go for you. It just adds that sound, and it really wakes up this 4-cylinder engine and adds another element of fun to driving this car. So definitely for a performance mod, this is the best thing you can do for your Giulia is add some sort of exhaust or some sort of delete system to just wake up the car, give you a little more noise and volume to go with it. So this system is from a company called AFE. It is just a muffler delete system, and it's not a full exhaust. So it pretty much deletes the muffler and replaces it with 2 3/4 inch pipe for the rest of the way. So that's why I still have cats, I still have the resonators. That's why it still has the kind of factory tone. It just has a kind of that aftermarket volume. So it's nothing crazy. There's no pops and bangs going on with this thing. Just a nice clean sound that comes out of it. I paid in the realm of $500 to $600 for it. I'm not entirely sure. I'll try to see if it's still on sale. This was about 2 years ago. I'm not entirely sure the company is still producing the exhaust for it. However, if I can find it, I will link it for you guys. But it was really not a bad deal at all. It gets you almost as good of a sound as a full exhaust system would for probably half the price. So if you guys are going to do a mod, I definitely think you should do an exhaust system on your Giulia. Alright, Alright, so coming to the performance side of things, under the hood of the Giulia, obviously we have a standard 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder that produces 280 horsepower and 306 pound-feet of torque. However, I have upgraded the air filter kind of intake system with a K&N one aftermarket. It's mostly just a filter, so it just helps it breathe a little better. But I actually have noticed over driving it for this last year or two with this filter in, notice that you do get a little more sound of intake and induction noise inside the cabin, and you actually can hear the turbo a little bit better with this filter. So stock, you can't really hear the turbo too much, but actually with this K&N filter, you do get in dynamic mode and in manual mode a few additional like whooshes and blow-off sounds that you wouldn't otherwise get. Pretty much other than that, under the hood of the Giulia, everything else is completely stock. Alrighty, so moving to the interior, I've also done quite a few cosmetic mods here to the Giulia. So, starting with what's right in front of you, the steering wheel. Now, this is a beautiful steering wheel from factory. However, I just wanted to enhance that a little bit. So, what I did was I bought some, now these are kind of like carbon fiber stick-on pieces. So, I'm not sure how genuine the carbon fiber actually is. However, I do think it looks really good. They have held up. Again, it's been 2 years and it still looks great. And they still work great. So first thing is these kind of pieces that go around the controls on the steering wheel here, as you can see, these kind of just stick on. They got the little flag on them, which I thought was pretty cool, and they got that carbon fiber weave. The next pieces are these pieces down here, which are kind of quadrifolio copycat, I guess you could say, pieces that insert into the bottom of the steering wheel, because from factory the Giulia has a different kind of material. It's not leather that's underneath this, it's a different kind of piece that goes there. So this actually slots over it really well, and I think it definitely gives a sportier look. I've also gone ahead and got the carbon fiber piece for here, which covers the factory plastic that would be under there. Also, as you can see, the normal Giulias, so anything that's not the quadrifolio model, will give you a black start-stop button. If you do get the quadrifolio model, however, you will get a red stop-start button. So I kind of wanted to mimic that, and I did go ahead and replace the start-stop button there with a red one. And I also got a carbon fiber piece to cover the plastic to go around it. So I think all in all, it really makes the steering wheel look quite sporty and quite special. So I do like that. Also, continuing with the carbon fiber, over here I've gone ahead and got a carbon fiber kind of cover or like trim piece here that slots over the original plastic just to cover up some of that plastic again. I think that looks really nice as well. That's got both door panels there as well as in the rear. I'm not sure if you guys can see that, but it does continue into the rear as well. So yeah, so carbon fiber for the window trim pieces here. I also have carbon fiber vents. So these are vent covers that slot right over the original plastic pieces. Again, I think that just ties in the whole thing as well. You can see right over there. And of course, I had to get the carbon fiber Alfa Romeo piece here to cover the, it was similar to this material, a kind of wood. However, I did think that the carbon fiber just looked better, looked cleaner, and slots right over there, and I think it completes the whole interior really well. There's a little kind of climate control vent piece here on the bottom and on the top here. That just two pieces that slot over. Again, I think it just ties it all together and makes this look even sportier and classier than it already did. I also have the carbon fiber cover for the gear lever here, as well as the carbon fiber piece to go on top of the black plastic that would normally come standard with the Giulia. And I've also gone ahead and added this silver trim piece here on top of the original plastic, just to add a little more uniformity to the inside of the car. And I think that makes that whole center section just look a little bit better as well. And you can see I really love this, the Alfa Romeo kind of crest to go on top of the multimedia knob there. And I think that's really high quality actually, and it looks really, really good on top of everything. And I'm sure that you guys have noticed, somebody did comment on one of my earlier videos, but the kind of stitching that I've added to the Giulia. So this is injection molding up on top here, unless you go for the higher model year Giulias and like the more optioned out and the quadrifoglio models. You'll get leather up here that is already stitched. However, in the base model is injection molding, and that's the same with on top of the dash there as well. So what I've gone ahead and done is found something that you can actually stitch into this injection molding to create that same stitching and same look that the quadrifoglio and the higher trimmed Giulias have. So I've gone ahead to match the other stitching and to match the exterior paint color, gone with a nice red stitching, and I think that really adds some class and some luxury. It's also down here as well. This is a different kind of stitching. It matches more of what the OEM is, but it's held up really well. I've had this on the car for maybe 9 months or so right now. Again, it's held up really well. As you can see, I've done it on top of the dash as well. Again, I've followed the lines that the quadrifoglio has and the higher model Giulia has, so I'm not adding stitching in places where it wouldn't be otherwise. However, I do think that it really does add a nice touch here. You can see it's also on the armrest, and it's really nice. Pretty good material. You can find some of it on Amazon. You can find cheaper alternatives that you just kind of glue on if that's more your style, if you're not trying to spend as much money. But I think that it works really well, and it adds a very high quality finish to the whole interior. Alrighty guys, that's going to be it for today's video. Sorry if I sound hoarse. I am a little bit under the weather right now, but I hope you guys still kind of enjoyed the video and got to see just how amazing you can make this car look and feel and sound for pretty cheap. Actually, the base Giulia is already a great car, and I'm not saying that it isn't. If you just buy one of these and you're ripping it around town, you're gonna have a great time no matter what. However, I just wanted to customize the car a little bit and make it you know, kind of one of one, just like my own. And I think I've pretty much accomplished that so far. So if you guys did like the video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you want to see more content with the Giulia, please check out the channel. I have plenty of videos and shorts and stuff about this car and other cars just like it. So please keep supporting the channel. I love hearing from you guys, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. So thanks for watching, and peace.